Hello, new wave of British heavy metal.com here today, real good one. The mighty Saxon, alright, new wave of British heavy metal stalwarts Saxon come at us with a mighty, well, I'll call it a double bubble release, I think, yes. Because what we've got here is a live album of their appearance at Hellfest last year in 2024. And included with it, this is where the double bubble bit comes in, you also get their current studio album, the very excellent Hellfire and Damnation. Hence, as you can see from the cover artwork there, it's Hellfire and Damnation Eagles over Hellfest. Okie doke. Now, I think I am probably on record here and other places saying that way back in the late 70s, early 80s, you know, when Saxon rose to prominence along with the new wave of British heavy metal, they didn't really do much for me. I thought the stuff was, whilst playing to their strengths and their audience, I thought it was just far too cheesy, you know, like Wheels of Steel, Denim and Leather and all that stuff just left me pretty much cold. However, right, I am also on record as saying I do very much like their recent studio albums, Carpe Diem and Hellfire and Damnation, which I think are both superb, and I'm pretty sure on the channel there are videos of me reviewing those albums saying how much I like them. You know, those albums, particularly Hellfire and Damnation, with the addition of Diamond Head's Brian Tatler, seem to have brought just new energy and impetus, and well, they're just storming albums, both of them. And bearing in mind the overly cheesy comment of a few seconds ago, it can't be denied, can it, that Saxon have always been a live band, always been a superb live band. I went to see them many a time back in the late 70s, early 80s, because, well, then you could go to a concert for a few quid and still come home with change from a tenner, unlike today. But that's another story, isn't it? But they've always known how to put on a show, even back then. And they still do, as evidence what we've got here with Eagles over Hellfest. They roll through an energetic set, which, as you may expect, draws heavily on the older classics, which they've got to play, really, haven't they? Such as Wheels of Steel, Denim and Leather, Strong Arm of the Lord, Dallas 1 PM, and all the others that you could reel off. But they do introduce some new stuff as well, such as the superb Madame Guillotine from Hellfire and Damnation. Okay. Oh, and there's also another old one, 747 Strangers in the Night, which is one of the early songs from Saxon, which I do quite like. Anyway, starting to ramble a bit, aren't I? But over this live performance, Saxon put it all in. They leave nothing behind, you know. Biff Byford is such a talismanic frontman, isn't he? Remarkable for a bloke in his 70s that he can still bang it out as well as he does. He's a proper force of nature. Guitarist Doug Scarrett and riffmeister General Brian Tatler, what a duo. Nigel Glockler's one of the finest drummers of the genre. I've always admired Nigel's drumming, and Nibs Carter locks in tight on bass, right? Whether the world needs another live album from Saxon is debatable, as if you're a fan and got their previous live albums, there's not much by way of stuff on this set list that you won't already have on previous Saxon live albums. Although, if you may not be too familiar with Saxon, it's a good start, particularly as here you also get the studio album of Hellfire and Damnation, which I've said already is a cracker. It really is. It's a monster of an album. And it's a nice touch from Saxon to include both the live performance and the studio album together, right? So available now. I'll put a link to it in the description on Amazon, so you can go and pick it up. I think there might be other various formats available as usual. And in other related new wave of British heavy metal news, which also relates to Saxon as well, Diamond Head have a new live album due out very shortly, which of course has Brian Tatler on it. I'm not sure what Diamond Head's future might be now Brian's involved with Saxon, though let's hope he can combine both and keep Diamond Head going as well. I'll review the Diamond Head album when it arrives, which it shouldn't be too much longer. I think it's due out early next month in July. But in the meantime, enjoy Saxon's Hellfire and Damnation Eagles over Hellfest. So link to it below underneath if you want to go and do that. Please do subscribe to the channel before you go, if you wouldn't mind, because that would be marvellous. And until the next video, thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and take care.